Backchat TV. Subscribe.
What's going on, boxing fans? It's Backchat TV, and I'm back with another frequent question that I've been asked quite recently about Errol Spence. Where do I go from here? Where does Errol Spence go from here? I think this question is a really important question, and it's one that Errol Spence really has to think about carefully. I mean, he calls himself the truth. This is the one time in his career that he's going to have to be completely truthful with himself. Forget all of us casual fans, commentators. We're not important because we're not directly involved in his life and in his family's life. It's a decision that he has to take, and he has to make sure that he's completely happy with that decision. If he wants a rematch, he has to consider everything. He has to sit down with himself and consider his accident. 100 miles an hour, the car flips over, considerable facial damage and damage to his body, to his teeth, probably a little bit of plastic surgery as well. Definitely scar tissue in places that we can't see. All these things play a part in how durable you're going to be in a fight. I didn't think he looked very durable in the fight, as in he looked slower, but also his face marked up very quickly, and as Roy Jones pointed out, that's not normal for your face to be marked up so badly, for it to turn a funny color. It's not normal in the second round for that to happen. 9 times out of 10, that's got something to do with, scar tissue not healed properly, or plastic surgery from the accident, and these things matter. I think, and I'm a Terence Crawford fan, there are some legitimate reasons for why Errol Spence's performance was so poor. I do believe that the layoff meant that his timing was off, which we saw was evident in the fight. I do believe that, like I said, he has considerable damage to his body that is not fully recovered. Never mind just from the accident, but also from the fight that he had with Ugas, where he had some problems with his teeth, and he had to have like some custom-made, I think it was dentures or some kind of alteration to his teeth, and all sorts, and all these little things. They sound small, but they're all meaningful. All these things is damage to your body, and you can't go in the ring with someone who doesn't have this damage, who is firing on all cylinders, and be competitive. So these things matter. On top of that, he has to ask himself, what can he do better? What was he lacking in the fight? You can't just take a rematch. What's the point of just taking a rematch and getting beaten again, maybe in a worse fashion? You have to resolve the things that you were not good at in the first fight. So your timing wasn't good, which means if your timing was bad, you don't go back into a fight in December, which is just a few months away. Your timing is not going to be any better. You're going to take a year or more to acclimatize to 154 pounds, fight some other contenders, get used to the strength of slightly bigger guys, and get yourself, change your whole team around, do everything so that you can be at your best, recover fully from the extensive damage that was done with the Terence Crawford fight and the accidents, and take some time off and then get back in there with lesser competition at 154 pounds and just acclimatize. Maybe you have to get a new strength and conditioning trainer in to get you to that level, professional, to get you to that level of strength, because when you was in there with Terence Crawford, he was considerably stronger than you, so that's something you need to work on. I could look at him and see that he needs to work on his strength, because in the weigh-in, he didn't look any different in the fight. In the weigh-in, he was quite lean, came in on the limit at 147, and he didn't look much more hydrated in the ring, whereas Terence Crawford came in at 146 pound, still very, very, very lean, and he came in fully hydrated, looking like the bigger man. So something is wrong there. How can you be the bigger man and not take full advantage of rehydrating properly when there's no limit? It seemed like he was undersized. And that doesn't make sense. If you're the bigger man and you were the bigger man in the weigh-in, why are you now suddenly undersized? Something not professional going on. All these things, if I was him, I would cross all the T's and dot all the I's, basically, before I even think about seeing Terence Crawford again in the ring. So I feel like he needs to, forget the kind of maybe a little bit of embarrassment and the expectation of the fans, your Texas fan base, your city, your family, whoever's pushing you to do something. Your own ego probably is more likely to be at play here. You need to put all that to the side and actually think about, I'm 34, 35 now. Do I want to continue? And if you cannot say 100%, you're willing to give 110% now, raise the level even more than what you did before, then there's no point in continuing and you should retire. If you think that you do have a lot more to give despite your injuries, then give it 100%. Don't go back in there at 10% more than you was before and get beaten. You know what I mean? So I feel like someone needs to sit down with him and actually let him take some time off with his family and let him really consider what he really wants to do. And then if he does decide after that he's going to 154 and he wants to campaign at that weight, then he needs to take it seriously. He needs to change many things. There were many things wrong. His timing was off. He wasn't getting his head off the center line. He was trying to rush his work when he couldn't get in. I know that he fights like that with pressure, and he normally pushes through and gets his time in the longer he goes, but he needs to realize that there were some fundamental skills that were missing. So why not take time to develop those things? The only way he's going to do that is by fighting different competition that isn't Terence Crawford. And I know he might not like that, but that's what you need to do to kind of hone your skills. Terence Crawford didn't become this amazing athlete that he is now overnight. No, he didn't. He lost in the amateurs to Danny Garcia. He lost in the amateurs to Ugas twice. So there was a transitioning stage where Terence Crawford worked on his skills over a period of time to get to where he is now. Errol Spence, being the bigger man and being a strong guy, kind of just got through on the basics and how he normally fights. And that got him very far. But now the road is ended. He now needs to develop a new skill set to go any further than he is now. Just like Terence Crawford developed his right hand, his left hand, one was weak. He had an injury with one, and then he developed the other one. The same thing, Floyd Mayweather had hand issues and had to develop using it as a hand, and had to develop his defense so that he didn't have such a high output. He had to adapt to things. So this is where Errol Spence has to adapt to this new situation that he finds himself in, where his pressure is not enough at the elite level. He just needs to adapt. He can do it, but he has to decide if he really wants to do it. Taking a quick rematch with Terence Crawford is not the right thing to do. So that's my view. Let me know what you think. I just think there's too much at stake. Your health, your family, to make rash decisions based on ego. I feel that he really needs to think about this. But maybe I'm wrong. Let me know. Do you think he should jump straight back in with Terence Crawford? I've got a feeling there's going to be more people that say no than will say yes. But then again, I could be wrong. Let me know in the comment section what you think about his chances, not just against Terence Crawford in a rematch, but also against the rest of the 154-pound fighters. I'd like to see him fight other people. Honestly, I want to see him. I really want to see him develop different skills. You know what I would actually love? I would love him to have a rest, make some of those changes to his team, come back and show us different skills. Not just a pressure fighter, but fighting on the back foot, working on his timing, being a bit faster. Literally just working on areas where he's at a disadvantage. I'd like to see him really improve and put in that time and effort to really improve, fight some other fighters, see where he is at 154 pound, and down the line meet Terence Crawford again. I think that makes more sense. video and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more of a similar nature.